What's up, everybody? Welcome to PodBytes, episode 19 today. I am Pascal Takaya, being joined today by two of our finest and brightest, Rexley Penaflorida II. What's up,
So,
dude?
I should get a
And
pillow.
get a pillow, get comfortable, man.
Okay.
This is gonna be, the long haul torturous recording that we're doing. Grab a drink with
Comfortable.
one of those little umbrellas in it. Go for it.
Yeah, dude. Let me soak up the rays while I'm at it too.
Mm. And let me also say a hearty "What up, dog?" to Dan Madavi.
Hi there.
Hey, what's up? First time for you on PodBytes, I think.
It is indeed, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yay!
I like to point out all the various cherries that are being broken.
I was gonna say.
Oh,
I was gonna say. You beat me to the punch there.
you can see we're already devolving into into the gutter here.
We stoop so low.
Mm.
I think we started low, to be honest.
Well, how you guys
Clearly,
doing?
yeah.
We're
Everybody doing
doing.
fine, hopefully.
I'm doing great. Yes, pretty much chilling. Classes. For those that are listening and are unaware, I'm a college student currently in summer school.
Oh. And for those that aren't listening, any
What?
any words? Well, you said for those that are listening, so
For
I'm just
those that-
assuming there's a different message. Well, I don't know, whatever,
Well,
for,
I'm saying it could, like, for those who haven't who are listening and haven't like kind of either deduced it, or I may have mentioned it at times, but just to reiterate for those who have been listening and to introduce it to those who haven't listened before, I am a college student.
well, you gotta always put that
I'm
out there
covering my
because you never
bases.
know.
I'm really covering my bases right now.
This might be the episode that goes viral. You know, the continued success of the website might be up to the three of us right now.
No pressure. No pressure, guys.
Yeah, actually, I to be quite honest, I have a headache. We were talking earlier, and by earlier I mean like 5 minutes ago, right before before the podcast, we were talking about various forms of naps that everyone's been taking today. And I woke up from mine with just a blazing headache, so it took a leave to hopefully drug me up a bit and make me feel better. And interestingly enough, they're small and blue. And so, of course, as I'm as I'm taking the Aleve, I'm just like, oh, I'm too young for Viagra.
The what? I
Aleve,
don't understand this.
Aleve is like it's a headache relief.
yeah, as a painkiller.
I don't know. If you guys have Tylenol there, that's kind of like the alternative.
No, we have paracetamol and ibuprofen.
There you go, ibuprofen. There you go. It's an ibuprofen, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know my medical terms.
Although I like the way you pronounce that.
What? Ibuprofen?
Ibuprofen? Ibuprofen?
Yeah,
Where we do
Something-
ibuprofen?
Ibuprofen?
ibuprofen.
Ibuprofen actually sounds better.
And I actually knew that you guys have I would have mispronounced it. I thought it was paracetamol, but
I think I'm unique in the fact that I approach it as paracetamol. Most people I know say paracetamol.
You're so weird. You personally.
Damn it!
I actually knew about that. Way back in the day, I remember Bush. If either one of you, well, I mean, I'm talking about them like they're like an old time band or whatever. I mean, they're still around, so I'm assuming you know who they are. But I was a big fan of theirs growing up, and in one of their songs they talk about that in their lyrics. So actually, I've heard about that before. Awesome.
Cool.
This is how I learn.
This is how you rock.
Well, but so since you don't know, well, Aleve is the small blue pill. So I'm either I'm taking Viagra. That's the one explanation for it.
Come on.
Too young. I can't. I don't need it. Well, I don't want to go into the details of whether I need it or not. Let's just leave that. Or the flip side of that could be, maybe I'm in some form of like pain-induced matrix. Take the blue pill.
It's the red pill, by the way.
Yeah. I don't know. We may have some of those too. Usually I just take horse tranquilizers. We're getting a little off course here. I just wanted to put that out there. So, um, I could be wrong, but are we going to talk about video games today?
I think that's probably on the agenda. I'd like to try it at least.
Was that the intention at some point? Yeah,
I
let's
would
try.
like to discuss the
Well,
benefits.
we'll try for maybe 5 minutes and see where it goes.
Yeah. And if it doesn't go anywhere, we'll just end the podcast in 5 minutes.
Perfect.
Yeah. Or we could just keep talking about blue pills.
Well, I feel like with E3 being over and done with now for a good solid, what has it been? A week and a half, 2 weeks maybe?
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
I'm a little bit off on my time schedule, but yeah.
It's been 2 weeks.
Yeah, about 2 weeks. But I really feel like not a whole lot has been moving and shaking in game news.
Yeah, there doesn't really appear to be very much, does there?
Oh, and I wouldn't really expect there to be a lot. So what have you guys been up to then, since there's not been a whole lot of great earth-shattering announcements being made? Go ahead, start.
Okay, I guess I'll go first. I mean, just really, in terms of games, really not.
Hold on, Dan, why don't you go first?
Aww.
I'm just kidding.
Aww.
I could have let you go for another minute before I decided. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I just been playing Final Fantasy 13 2, which when I reviewed it, I never really got. I don't even know how far I got, and I was pretty much confused the entire way. And I replayed it, and actually finished it yesterday. Other than that, been pretty much playing Diablo 3 really, and some KOTOR. Diablo's kind of taking a back seat nowadays for some reason, because I need to finish KOTOR, and I finished Final Fantasy 13 too. So yeah, that's been pretty much it. Yeah.
I haven't played it. Is it a game?
Nah, I didn't like the ending.
Well, but is it like an accomplishment to make it all the way through?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I've only ever finished. Other than that, I've only ever finished one other Final Fantasy game, and that was 13. Just because.
What?
Yeah.
Playing 9. Finish 9. 9's the best.
I played 9 when I still had a working PS2. I don't know where that went. I had 7 when I was really little. But yeah, that's pretty much. I've played 10. I've played a lot of Final Fantasy games. I've never really finished most of them. It's kind of sad.
They are quite long.
They are quite lengthy, but I kind of like the lengthiness to it.
Mm.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm just gonna edit that sentence out and and use it against you in some form in the future. They are lengthy, but I like the lengthiness.
I like the lengthiness. I enjoy it.
Is this just? Are you guys talking about Final Fantasy, or is this because of that blue pill statement that I made earlier?
You know what? You know.
Like how long and hard these games are, you know?
Dude, the endurance that I have for these games. All night.
That's the thing. Those I would say up until Final. I don't know about 13 because I'm still playing it. I don't know how long it is. I guess it's regular or adequate length or sorry. It's adequate. But yeah, I agree. Like the other ones are just such a chore to get through, and I've left a couple of them unfinished during in the course of time. I think Final Fantasy VIII I never finished all the way. I got all the way to the final boss of the game at some point, and I couldn't beat the boss and kind of stop playing. And now it's been I don't know, a decade and a half. So I would love to go back and finish it, but that would require me to literally pick it up from the beginning and play all the way through. And I just can't find myself. I can't see myself doing something like that with a 50+ hour game that I've already played before.
Yeah, I'm a little bit like that. I find it really difficult to finish games. Metal Gear Solid, the first one, is a big game for me simply because I've finished it multiple times, just because it's not that long. Final Fantasy 9 I managed to get through just simply because I think it's an amazing game. But typically I'm pretty rubbish at finishing games. I still haven't finished the Skyrim main story. I've logged probably a couple of 100 hours on that, and
Oh my God.
Oh, dude, I haven't. No, I've done the same. I haven't finished it either.
No, nor have I. None of us have.
Well, the thing is though, like, cause when I do like games like those, I want to get all the side missions done as much as I can.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm the same.
And even though some of them are like really stupid, like collect, I don't know, 20 Jazzbait grapes or whatever it is, like I still want to get that done. I want to have like a clean
Having
slate
said
before
that-
heading off.
Having said that, a friend of mine said that finishing Skyrim is probably the best idea to do early, and then play that. He was like, "Oh, it's so amazing! You got to finish it. Play it once it's finished, because it's not like Fallout where it just stops." And I've been thinking about it, but it's hard to get back into. When you've walked away from a game, you want to start a new character if you start again.
Yeah.
So, are you saying that your friend is advising you to finish the main story, and then go back and do the side quests after, like with the same character?
Yeah, because the game continues on. It doesn't
Yeah.
stop. But apparently there are lots of changes and things. As I said, I don't know. I should probably know, but I don't know what these are. So
Yeah, and the guys who would know. Well, actually, I think maybe Declan is the only one who would, but yeah, he's not on right now. So but I'm kind of with you guys on that because I haven't finished. I was actually playing it up until about 20 minutes ago. I've been getting back into it for the last week or so.
Yeah.
And I haven't even started on, I guess what's considered Act 2, or at least that's what the strategy guide calls it, Act 2 of the main story, and I'm somewhere, oh gosh, I don't even know. I'm somewhere between 20 and 30 hours in, and I'm still on the first act. I think I'm almost on level 30 at this point, my character.
okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm just having a lot of fun, like
What are
playing
you as, like, if you don't mind, like?
Say again?
What class are you?
What are the options?
Like there.
I don't know why I just asked what class.
What
Like, who are you though?
what race am I? I'm a Nord.
Yeah. Okay. Have you exploited the whole blacksmithing thing yet?
No, my blacksmithing is not too high. I don't seem to have a lot of opportunity to make a lot of stuff.
Are you more of a swords person, or you like do magic half the time?
Yeah, I'm playing as a one-handed specialization.
Yeah. Oh, dude, get that blacksmithing all the way up, because then, like, for like when you were level, what armor do you have at level 30?
Like, what are you saying right now?
Do you remember? When
Um, like, I'm not really sure what, like, are there different classes to the armor? Is that what you're getting at?
No, like, I mean, like, there's better armor than most others.
I'm wearing like steel plate.
Okay.
See, I'm probably around about, even with however many hundreds. I think it's just short of 200 hours I've got. I'm still only about level 35, just because I do a lot of messing about. But yeah, it's totally worth getting your blacksmithing up. You just basically turn iron into daggers, turn daggers into go get daggers enchanted. You max out your enchanting and blacksmithing really quickly, gets you tons of levels, and you'll get like really high end Daedric armor, which is definitely
Daedric armor. Daedric armor took me a while, but everything else, like, I think when I was you're level 30 now, Pascal. When I was level 23, I was already wearing dwarven armor, just running around with those things, and trying to find materials to make I think obsidian armor is next, if I remember right, on that list. So
possibly. I can't remember actually.
right, but like either way, I was just like, whenever I got new armor, I was like, okay, all right, good, find more materials to make the next one.
It sounds like I'm way below that threshold where you guys are talking that you were at.
I mean, I guess the game doesn't really expect you to go into dwarven armor by level 20, but if if you're mostly focused on upgrading your blacksmithing, then we can get it that way.
That whole as far as like leveling your blacksmithing and stuff, I remember doing that in World of Warcraft. One of the characters I had in there, for some horrible reason, I decided was going to be a blacksmith, and it was just the biggest pain in the ass to level blacksmithing in that game.
That is a bit of a grind, to be honest. It's definitely a grind in Skyrim.
Yeah, but
it's not particularly fun, but
so I guess that's why I've never done it really. I've done it here and there as the opportunity like crops up, but I've never actually pursued it with that as like my main focus for a gaming session.
Mm. Yeah, well, to be honest, it's not like an MMO grind where you're spending hours and hours doing it. Level 100 blacksmithing probably takes a couple of hours at most, and
Yeah.
you'll max it out, and then you can spend all the levels. You get loads of perks. You can bung your perks in something decent.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest, I'm really psyched for Dawnguard, and I know that Dawnguard's going to get me back into the game.
I haven't really looked into Dawnguard, and I might at some point, but for the most part, if I play once a month for Skyrim, I can get my fix for the game for that month. And that's only if I play it for about, I don't know, 2-3 hours.
My thing is that, like, I usually play like a good guy character. I don't really like being evil, but the vampires in Dawnguard have me wanting to play an evil character because they look so sick. So
oh yeah, they do. I've seen those. Those are pretty good. I'm really excited for it, but yeah, I don't know if it's gonna have the same effect on me as it does on you, and where you're gonna get back into it for the DLC.
But I kind of wonder, even so, when you start up a new character, a vampire, let's say, so obviously there's going to be DLC specific content, quests and things like that, and some sort of a vampire storyline, I would assume. But I don't know what's that going to bring you up to. That's going to last you for maybe 15, 20 levels or so?
No. I think the way that they're doing it is similar to the way that they've approached being a werewolf in the main quest of Skyrim. So I don't know if you've done the companion quest.
Yeah, actually, I am a companion.
You will basically turn into a werewolf if you so choose, and can then use werewolf powers. And you can, to some extent, become a vampire, but it's not particularly interesting in Skyrim main quest. But I think they're going to handle it the same way as that. So you're turning into a vampire, pursuing vampire-y type stuff, but getting more and more powerful as a vampire.
So it's just your main character can also then shift into that mode, right?
To be honest, I don't know, but that's my
right.
speculation. That's my speculation. I think it would be easier for them to do that and have extra content that way than for them to have, I build a vampire, I play for a few levels, and wow, everything's finished.
Yeah, but just that makes sense, because my worry was, if once you get through the way I was envisaging it, is that even a word? I think so.
Envisaging it?
I'm pretty sure that's right. The way I had it in my mind.
There you go.
I was kind of worried that once you got through the arguably probably really cool DLC specific questing and all that, then you'd be a vampire and back to like collecting, rabbit pelts or whatever for the person in Riften that sent you on a quest.
Yeah.
But if they're not going, well, I mean, I guess you could still do that even with your main character, just shift into vampire mode and hunt down a skeever or whatever you happen to be doing at that moment.
Yeah. It'd be really cool though if the vampire could do shouts, because then you just have full Sruda, like the entire time.
with a horrible like Transylvanian accent. Is that what you're like?
Yeah.
An Eastern European accent?
Yeah. Then he can help me count.
Oh.
The number of the day is 3. I don't know.
Dude, yeah. When you level up, maybe that's how it'll present it in that Sesame Street voice.
You are level 34.
You do a really good job with that, by the way.
I watch a lot of Sesame Street.
This is your daily affirmation. Frixley, you do a great job with that, buddy.
Thanks, Pascal. I'm so happy. You made my day.
Speaking of Skyrim, because we haven't nearly touched upon Skyrim enough in past podcasts.
Really?
No, I'm being facetious. But since it's come up again, what I really enjoy playing that game just as, this is going to sound stupid for a game featuring dragons and vampires and werewolves, but I really enjoy playing it as realistically as possible. As far as like
I get where you're coming from though. I think I do.
I'm sorry, but come again?
I said I think I get where you're coming from.
Oh.
I think I understand.
something I've mentioned before, way back when we had a podcast, but I refuse to do any like fast traveling. Like it's such a grand world with so much um, well, partially useful and then also just so much like ultimately useless but just awesome to look at crap in it that I think just fast traveling around from objective to objective would be just really doing it a great disservice. It's I don't know, I don't want to go like off the rails here, but it just looks like really vibrant, and there's always something happening everywhere you go, even just with wildlife and stuff like that. So I'm having a really good time taking my time and literally walking or riding a horse from objective to objective and doing side quests that way. And so it's going to take an awful long time, and I can't see really ever um, creating another character and going back through to get like other faction quests or whatever. I'm going to try to do as much as I can, join as many guilds as I can, and do the quests now with my main guy, and eventually that'll be the end of it. Once I finish, I'm done with the game.
I've never thought of it that way. I mean, I've always fast traveled for quests and whatnot, and I haven't even gotten a horse to use, which I'm not even sure if that's an okay thing to do, because I like you. I mean, I do walk around sometimes, but I think like there be quests where it's in the middle of nowhere and I don't have. It's not like in a location that I've discovered, so I'd fast travel to the nearest place and then walk to there. Because that's how I did it.
Well, you
But
have to do it that way for sure.
right, but like I mean, but yeah, I know what you mean. I think I remember the other. I think last month I was watching Game of Thrones, like on like the DVD, and like I was watching that, and for some reason watching Game of Thrones makes me want to play Skyrim. So I played Skyrim while the show was playing, and I was basically just walking around. I wasn't even doing anything. I just wanted to walk around just because it felt. I don't know. If it's gonna sound weird, but it kind of felt right playing that while watching Game of Thrones. But
I can see that.
yeah, that's a good way I think to turn it to something interesting where you just walk around and not even use fast travel at all.
To be honest,
Um,
I'm a little bit like that with Morrowind though as well. Especially since I got the Morrowind graphics overhaul. Because there's a PC mod that completely changes the graphics, updates them to high res, adds loads of foliage, adds loads of stuff.
I've seen that
Makes
somewhere.
Yeah, it makes the game stunning. I'd say probably a couple of stages better than Oblivion, at least. And I've always just enjoyed walking around, but with the overhaul update, and it was the same with Skyrim. I really just loved wandering about, and I don't like fast traveling that much. I do occasionally do it just because sometimes you're like, oh, it's all the way on the other side of the map. Can I really be bothered? But most of the time, I prefer taking a horse, charging about. Horses make good companions in the game too. It's good.
I've killed like my third horse today, or third or fourth one.
a friend of mine,
On that note.
I think a friend of mine did I don't know if there's a quest that I haven't encountered this quest yet, but apparently one of the quests gives you a horse. It's like a black horse with like I don't know red eyes or something like that. I could be completely wrong here because
Yeah, no, that's in the game. Yeah,
and
it's very
apparently, like,
fast as well.
and I think he doesn't. I think he can get it away from him. So every time he fast traveled, he always freaked out because when you fast travel and he appears, the horse is like basically right in his face,
Ooh.
and it always terrified him. The same way that when he played it, he hated the fact that in Oblivion, whenever you talk to someone, the camera would zoom into their face, and like some of the faces were really creepy to him. So.
I can't confirm it either, but I have heard about actual horses that you get as like quest rewards and things like that. So I guess so. I haven't seen them myself yet. But Dan, weren't you the one that said that Skyrim on consoles basically looks like a turd?
I don't think I put it like that, but yeah, it doesn't look great.
I was doing air quotes. You couldn't see. I was air quoting.
The main thing is that, like, for me, the modding aspect of any Elder Scrolls game is really important, especially as they come out with incredibly high texture packs. Like, the reason I got a high-end PC and keep upgrading my PC is to make sure that I can play games like Skyrim on max settings. There's literally no comparison between the version on PC and the version on console. I love my PS3, but I would never play a game that has that level of beauty on a console. I feel like it's doing it a disservice.
What did you play it on, Rexley?
I played on a PS3, and I can only actually agree with Nan, because I've seen Skyrim on a PC, and it is amazing. And like, you
Love it.
know, I've played Skyrim, you know, like on a nice TV and everything. It's just, I don't think it really does pair up to the graphics of a PC, especially on max settings. And what Dan said too about the modding, I mean, I guess that's and that is really important. I think I was watching yesterday. I think it was on GameSpot, where they were covering like some new mods that people were making for Skyrim, and like, you know, there's one like to build your own house, or the one that really made me laugh was the one that allows you to have a car. It's like a really old beat up car, like it's a convertible, but basically you can drive this thing around Skyrim.
Yeah.
And basically the video combined that mod with this one mod that allows you to, I think, grab, like, it'll track nearby objects, and it'll basically like circle you the entire time that you're walking around. So basically this guy in full armor gets in a car, drives around, and then activates the, you know, circling mod. So basically, like, all these, I don't know, loose objects and animals just start flying around this car as he's driving up and down the hillside. It was really funny.
They in the Cataclysm expansion to World of Warcraft, one of the new playable races was the goblins, and in their like their starter area, basically the goblins starting like an island that you started a goblin character on. They also had, because goblins in that game were like the I believe they were the merchants, but they were also like the inventors and the tinkerers and stuff like that. And in their own starting area, they had completely out of character to the rest of the entire game. They had like cars that you could drive around, which was hilarious, because like basically you had like a little crew. I don't know if either one of you has ever played a goblin character in World of Warcraft, for that matter, but your character basically has like a crew of hanger-oners, I guess. I wish I could remember the specifics, but for some reason you have like groupies or friends or whatever that travel around with you, and they're just sitting in like the back seat of your car, and you're driving around, and they're like shouting stuff around, and it's pretty hilarious.
There was an update that was supposed to tease new information for Guild Wars 2 last year, and in that update, they had basically said that there was going to be this like stormtrooper style character in Guild Wars 2 that had like grenades and machine guns and could call in helicopter airstrikes, and they allowed you to play as this this class, this profession, in like a couple of missions in Guild Wars 1 as like a teaser to announcing it. And there was a mission where basically you had to get in a helicopter. But this is completely out of character for like the medieval setting of Guild Wars.
A helicopter.
Yeah, and the thing is, they weren't really in depth. They like came up with this trailer video for the new profession that had been announced and stuff like this, and people were like gobsmacked. They thought it was real, and they were really, really slamming ArenaNet for it. But happily, it turned out not to be true. I still have recorded videos and screenshots from the event though, because it's hilarious. Just like helicopters in the middle of Guild Wars. Mental.
But on the other hand, it's kind of like what I was saying a few minutes ago, as if you have a game, or, you know, whatever fictional world that you're talking about that has, you know, dragons and elves and things like that, and then you're, well, this is not realistic. Get the helicopter out of there. That doesn't make any sense.
Because dragons are so real.
I want realism back in my medieval fantasy. Thank you. Yeah.
Exactly.
But there you go. Yeah, speaking of like having your character look like a stormtrooper and whatnot and all the other fun stuff, Minecraft. When I don't know how to do it, or it just I think it hasn't been implemented in the console version yet. But when are we going to be able to change up our character looks in the console version? I mean, I know on the PC you can pretty much make your character look like anything you want. You can have like a ninja or a stormtrooper, or like Gollum from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I'm a ninja. I don't actually know. I'd love to see that, to be honest, because I think that the console versions, they have a lot of promise. Minecraft is the sort of game that could work well on consoles. So
The thing too, I think with costumes from Minecraft is that most of them are, they're not from launch, they're kind of like user submitted.
yeah,
And if they did do that for the console version, it would have to be like an actual set, I believe, because
Mm.
like I think you'd have to. I guess it would sell as, I don't know, a patch or a DLC to go with it, but it would only give you like an exact amount of costumes. And
mm,
if you're, let's say the stormtrooper wasn't there, then you gotta like, oh well, like I have to live with the fact that I can't walk around and take down trees and shovel up dirt
yeah.
as a stormtrooper.
I
So did
That's
you
think
just
there
that's
are
it.
there
did
are
you,
millions and millions of available costumes for PC
Hmm.
players. So I don't think it really converts. That's the other thing. Like with all of the updates that have happened in the PC version that the console obviously doesn't get because it's a few versions behind. It's back in 1.6 beta, I think, or wherever it is at the moment. Um, there are just like little things that they can't really work on, and to implement costumes into the console versions would be so difficult because they'd have to do it either as free DLC, which would then mean that everyone's downloading hundreds of things, or they'd have to do like a paid for DLC, and then console players are getting the short end of the stick.
Yeah. The way I think of it is like it kind of reminds me of Little Big Planet actually, where they had, if you go to the PlayStation store online, they have a lot of like costumes and
Mm,
all the stickers and little mechanics that go with each one. And I think I haven't played it in a while, so I don't know how much they cost now, but I remember getting a bunch of ones that were like for free or whatever, and I mean
or
it's nice, but they only give you a set number.
how about just like a character creator mode or something? I mean, think about games like Saints Row 3, where you can just make, an insanely, or even like we were saying, Skyrim, where you can customize your character to look and be the way you want them to be. And some games have a lot of different options for this. I think Dragon's Dogma had a pretty in-depth character creator. And for the console Minecraft, um, your character looks anybody's character will look exactly the same
yeah.
when you first start a game, and
Well,
then
Mm,
I think one thing there is that you're comparing massive budget AAA titles to what is effectively just an indie game that got made by a guy and like some of his friends that he put together, and is now, albeit a massive multi-million dollar game, but it's still an indie game developed by a small team. Um, and I don't think things like that are really that viable. I'd absolutely love to see a character creator because I suck at skinning. I can't do it myself the PC way. Well, I don't see how viable it is, to be honest.
well, on the 360, it's a different studio that's taken over the development of that game
Yeah.
for 4J Studios. So even if they
mm,
just took a selection, hopefully a big selection of costumes that are currently available on the PC version and put those into like a character creator that you can then purchase. I'd be willing to pay for something like that too. It's not a big deal, but it's something that if I see if I go on YouTube and watch any Minecraft video and I'll see all these basically personalities, walking around
Yeah.
like people that have made their character suit whatever style they want, and then if I play a two-player Minecraft game, like Martin and myself have played together a couple of times on there, um, the first play the host character will always look the same, and then the secondary character, basically he's wearing like what amounts to like some kind of a tennis uniform or a tennis skirt or tennis pants or something
Yeah.
like that. Every time it's slightly annoying. It's a minor gripe, I know. And to be quite honest, I haven't really played Minecraft in a few weeks. I pretty much finished like whatever initial ideas that I had when I upon first starting the game. I built them. They were somewhat like larger scale things that I was building. But after I finished, like after I wrapped up construction on my first ideas, I kind of went away from the game, and I haven't really gotten any new ideas, and I haven't been motivated to think of anything new to build. So I've stepped away from it a little bit.
I think Minecraft's a bit like that though. You get periods where you don't want to play and you're not that interested in playing, but then you'll suddenly get some great idea or you'll be inspired by something you saw online. You'll go back in and you'll probably log another. I don't know. I've logged countless numbers of hours playing Minecraft, just like months apart sometimes, but still a lot of time. The thing is, like, I agree with you. It's a shame that the consoles don't have the costumes, because you do lose that little bit of character. People choose to be all kinds of things, from Ezio to an Enderman to like just a generic ninja or whatever. And you lose a little bit of that in the fact that you can't really choose what you want to look like. But those costumes are all the costumes that belong to other people. Normal people have made them. It's not like they're pre-downloadable, made by the studio. So to package them up and sell them would be cheating those people out of their intellectual property.
Yeah.
It's harsh.
I think there's a lot of hoops to jump through, but I mean, I do like the idea though, if Notch decides to like make like a bunch of skins for characters for the console version. And you mentioned Saints Row 3, and I love how many different types of clothing you can get for your character. I mean, mine's running around the city in a top hat, a cape, and high heels. and he's
high heels.
And he's silver skinned.
Wait, are we talking about Minecraft or Saints Row?
I'm talking about Saints Row because you mentioned Saints Row,
Okay.
and I just wanted to say like how like it's hilarious, but at the same time like the possibilities for you have a lot of possibilities and different combinations in Saints Row the Third to actually make your character be unique and also hilarious at the same time. So
I think character creators are brilliant though. They've always been great.
Yeah.
Going back to like WWF Attitude and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, they were just like so much fun to make wacky, crazy characters that you felt like they were your own because they looked like what you wanted something to look like.
Right.
Which is always...
I remember that I used to go online in one of those WWE games. I think it was like SmackDown or Raw, or well, I only owned like one. I think it was actually WWE SmackDown. You can go online and find out from people who post like in-depth FAQs for how to make certain characters, like actual like wrestlers that aren't included in the game. But if you want, like for example, the one that I actually remember because I made it, if you want to Doink the Clown, because he wasn't in the game, but he's pretty memorable looking, like I want to run around looking like Doink the Clown. And it told you like specifically what body type to pick, what number to set each slider at, and so on and so on. And yeah, so I'm not as creative as that myself. I tend to just like if well, I don't know, in a game like Mass Effect, I ended up making my Shepard in the very first one, and it's carried over since then. He just looks basically like a caveman. He has this like really prominent protruding forehead, this protruding brow with and he's kind of dark skinned, but he has like strikingly blonde hair. So he's
Yep. Oh no, dude! I know what you're talking about because I made my guy. Sorry, not to interrupt you. I just wanted to say real quick, but like my Shepherd, he was kind of like tan like me, and then I basically made his hair black, but then I made his facial hair like bleach blonde.
So so same as me. So basically, we're making Dennis Rodman is what we're doing.
Yes, we are. Although I think my guy was a lighter skin tone than Dennis Rodman.
One cool thing that EA put into the last few FIFA games is the ability for you to upload your photo to their website, and it would graphically generate your face on a character, and it would work it out using the thing. So it looked a lot. It was really accurate. It looked a lot like whatever picture you happen to put in, and that was quite a lot of fun. So that was quite good.
Yeah, I did that. I had FIFA. I think it came out in FIFA 11, and I had FIFA 11 for a while. And I know I did that. I tried it because I wear glasses, so I had to take them off when I did the picture and whatnot. But yeah, really seeing myself as, and I don't even play football, as you Brits call it, as I don't play it ever. The last time I played it, I was 8 years old, and I played mid. and I was terrible. But seeing me like score goals for Manchester United, Chelsea, Tottenham, like those are pretty awesome. Like actually seeing my face and having it like my name. Oh yeah, that looks really cool. Too bad I'll never really do that in real life.
Those. Yeah. I'm not a big sports game guy, and I don't think any of us at B&B really are. But those the FIFA games just recently, I guess, or the Pro Evolution Soccer, they're starting to look just really I guess I don't know, they're just starting to look better, and I'm kind of looking forward into getting into one, or like one of the next ones that's releasing. I would probably like to pick up and try for myself. I'm kind of interested in this.
I do like sports games. They're quite fun. I don't play enough of them, but what I tend to do is buy a FIFA and then skip maybe 2 or 3 and then buy another one, because there's enough differences between them that they're totally different games. They're totally different.
Yeah, I think if you do it that way, you can really see the differences in the game.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you there.
I remember some early games that did the same thing what you guys were just talking about, basically, where you take a picture of yourself, a digital picture, and it creates it into like a facial skin, I guess, for your character, for your in-game character. I couldn't tell you what game it was anymore. I don't remember, but it was it was a while ago, obviously. But the technology was still like so far in its infancy back then that your character ended up looking like what's the Isn't Ultras? Isn't that the boss from the original like Star Fox?
Yeah, sounds
with that was it like the mode 16 like very like square shaped graphics and stuff like that. He was just like a giant floating face. That's basically what you but it was your face, but in that same graphical style
That's
put
really
on
good.
a character. Yeah, it looked pretty horrible. I would actually it was like it was kind of off-putting. I would rather not see my face depicted like that on a character, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's quite cool. I wish they'd put it in more games. Like Soul Calibur's got quite a nice character creator, but if you could import your own face into Soul Calibur, that would be brilliant.
Yeah, like having your own person do it is pretty nice.
And then you could go up against yourself. You could pick a different character and just kill the hell out of yourself,
Yeah. Should be an amusing concept. We should pitch this, I think.
It might be good therapy.
This is up. Copyright B&B Gaming. No one steal this. Okay. Go on.
Well, I mean, schools and like daycare facilities, they're using things like Wii Fit and things like that, as part of in some like physical education and health curriculum. There's no reason why a psychiatrist can't use Soul Calibur as some sort of like self-disciplinary psychiatry or whatever.
So are you saying that someone who does a session with a psychiatrist would the psychiatrist would make their face in a Soul Calibur game, tell them to sit down and play the game, and then from that watching them play, as themselves alone, you can figure out what's going on in their head?
Yeah, if somebody has like major guilt issues or as low self-esteem or whatever the case may be, just take a picture of their face, put it in the game, and have them just beat the hell out of themselves that way.
That's great therapy, in my opinion.
It could be very therapeutic.
You should be accredited for this stuff, man. This is good.
I don't want to attach my name to this right now, or because I'll be brought up on charges of something in court one day. We have
never said
right
that.
I never said that.
He might have implied it, but he never said that.
Did you or did you not say these things on PodBytes? I never inhaled. That'll be my defense. It depends on what the definition of the word is.
And then you'll come out with a book titled "If I Said It."
Yeah, purely hypothetical, of course.
Have you read that though? Have you read some of the stuff that's in that book? It's hilarious.
Is it actually called "If I Said It"?
No.
Is it "If I Did It"?
It's "If I Did It," but have you actually? There's like I've read excerpts of it online, and it's hilarious.
I won't lie to you. I don't know what you mean.
O.J. Simpson.
Is that the O.J. Simpson book?
Yeah, O.J. Simpson wrote a book called "If I Did It." Basically, how he would have, he would have done if he.
Probably the worst thing he could have
Oh,
Mate.
it's great because he's going through the whole process and he's like, this is what I would have done if I did it, but I don't know because I'm not that kind of person and I would never do that.
No.
But if I did, I would have done it this way. It's great.
That is pretty mental.
It's a hilarious. Oh man, I read that with my friend. We were just cracking up the entire time.
He's almost like, I think he's almost attained like folk hero status with his getting away with murder thing. I mean, he's turned that into, that's his legacy, his career basically now.
Mm.
Getting off
Yeah.
scot-free with murder. Well, whatever, right? Yeah, so
All in all, I think we agree that character creation is awesome, and not just
Should be in more games.
it should be in more games. That'd be nice too.
maybe you could create an O.J. Simpson character in Soul Calibur. and like a Ron Goldman and Nicole Simpson, and have like, you know, or for that matter, maybe you could use that in current court cases and have the reenactments done that way.
That'd be brilliant.
Here's what we think really happened for the jury to
Soul Calibur
Yeah.
5.
O.J. Simpson's a samurai.
God.
Oh, that would be great.
Or like a girl with a short skirt and big boobs. It's O.J. Simpson.
Oh,
yeah.
that's OJ. I was wondering where you're going with that. But you had my vote of approval. I mean, whatever you were getting at, I liked it.
That's all those Soul Calibur Dead or Alive. That's all they're really about.
Mm. I haven't played one of those, and to be fair, I haven't really played much of a fighter at all in forever. Although, as I'm saying that, I realize that's not totally true. I did play and review Skullgirls when it came out a few months ago.
That was brilliant. I love that game.
Kind of make me eat my words a little bit. Yeah, I hate those games that are just all about, you know, the girls with the boobs and whatnot. Oh yeah, I did play Skullgirls though.
But the thing is, Skullgirls is quite refreshing because it's a bit more of a women are cool type thing rather than a women are supposed to be sexy and that's it. Which is really refreshing and interesting, and it's a much, much better way of doing it.
Oh, and man, was that game difficult. I mean,
Yeah, I was
so
really
hard.
new. Like you said, the tutorial took you a while, or the practice round, or whatever.
I spent the entire first day just trying to get through the final parts of the tutorial, which I ended up finally doing. But it makes you pull off like I don't know, like 10 hit combos, or maybe it was more than that. I can't quite remember, but and I don't know what it's called in the fighting game. I guess the hit detection or whatever. I mean, it was very it required incredible precision and timing to be able to move from one action or from one hit to the next, basically. And
A lot of fighters are like that though. You get like your
Yeah.
Tekkens and your Street Fighters. They really want you to time each hit perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the guys who do this, you know, for tournament gameplay, they can do it. I
Yeah.
apparently cannot. I mean, I
I
sat.
take my hats off to them.
What's that?
I take my hats off to them. They're pretty special people.
Oh, well, and that
Yeah.
game was certainly created for them, and which as it was supposed to, was, you know, created as for tournament play, with tournament play in mind. But I remember I had to try some of the tutorial combos upwards of 100 to 200 times just to nail it once. It was insane. I mean, good game, great soundtrack, great art direction. Not really anything bad to say about the game, but it certainly wasn't for everybody, just with the difficulty.
Yeah.
My life mission is to still one day master most of King's combos in Tekken. Because I don't know if you guys ever played Tekken or you've seen King, like a person who knows King so well. Like he has like really ridiculous, like a high count of different combos that can be like combined together. That
He's
That's
the
quite-
wrestler, right? With
he's the
cat mask?
guy with the leopard. Is it leopard or a lion? And it's not a lion. I know that.
It's like a leopard mask or something.
It's a leopard. Yeah, that's him.
The cool thing about King's moves is that they're all, well, most of his combos are loads of grabs, and they just look so much fun.
Oh yeah. Oh no, they look amazing.
It's quite cool. I've learned a lot of Yoshimitsu's and Devil Jin's from Tekken 5
Yeah.
and Laws from Tekken 6. But I'm a big Tekken nut. I have like arcade sticks and stuff for when friends come around.
Awesome. Yeah, I haven't played a Tekken game since Tekken 4, I think.
Well, 3 was the last one I played, and the
Yeah.
only one I've ever played, to be honest.
I played as Law in Tekken 2 and Tekken 3. Then I switched to Yoshimitsu at 4,
Mm.
and man, Yoshimitsu plays dirty because you can have that if someone's running at you, you can do. I think it's back and then I think square, where like he draws his blade and then like if the person comes at the right time, you just like basically stab them and like a good chunk of their life is just gone.
You could do a reverse suicide where you
Yeah,
stab
that
yourself
too.
and stab them at the same time.
Hmm.
Oh,
Um,
oh, I was about to ask. I know he has a suicide move. I was going to ask if you, what is it actually useful for in combat?
um, Backstabs. So like if someone jumps behind you, they're about to do a grab. You use suicide, and you take off like almost all of their health. It's one of the most powerful moves. It's brilliant though. Brilliant fun to actually get because it's so difficult.
Hmm.
And if you get it wrong, you die. So
Yeah.
So if you get it right, it doesn't kill you.
if it kills you, you don't lose because you killed them.
I guess so. In
I think
death,
the
you still have victory.
Well, I was gonna say, I think the best way to do it is, I think if you have a significant gap of, or if it's a larger significant amount of life compared to the other person, then I mean, you still get injured and whatnot, but I think it won't kill you, but it'll definitely kill them in that case. Like if I have like, let's say, I don't know, 75% life and they're down to like 20, 25%, the double suicide will just do it. We'll get you. Will lower your health, yeah, but it won't kill you.
Yeah.
Whereas that's a definite kill for your opponent who's got ridiculous lows amount of life. So
Mm.
So I'm not hearing anybody give any love to Mokujin.
Oh, he's alright. It's
He's
too
okay.
difficult because you got to know everyone. It's so hard.
Well, we talk about want to master the moves in the game. There you go.
but I love King though. King, I mean, that was the first fighting game I ever saw was X-Men versus Street Fighter, and that kind of got me interested in it. And then the first one I actually owned and played was Tekken 3. And then I owned Tekken 2 a couple years later after that, and I loved Tekken 2 just because of that one move that Law did. It was a special move where he basically runs up the guy's stomach, does a backflip in the air, and then just belly flops on the guy, I think is what it was.
Yeah,
It
that's
was
exactly it.
hilarious.
Is that
But
what's the name of that move? Like alleyway rape or something?
I, I don't know, but oh man, I don't remember the name of it. The only um, name of a move that I remember is actually Yoshimitsu's. It's called the Slap You Silly, where he basically just keeps spinning and hits you. The only drawback is at the end of that he gets dizzy and
yeah,
it leaves
it falls over.
open. So yeah, I should buy a Tekken game again at some point.
So we've really run the gamut here. I mean, we started with our RPGs. We've went into sports games, fighting games, Minecraft, whatever you consider
talk
that.
about character creation.
Yeah. Is there anything else going on in gaming land for you guys?
Is Diablo 3 wearing off on you, Dan?
To be honest, I think I exhausted Diablo 3.
Yeah.
I've played so much of it. I'm still I still love it. I think it's amazing, and I stand by everything I said in my review.
Yeah.
I chose in my review not to mention any of the server issues simply because I think it's worth ignoring the server issues that the game had in its early stages.
No online game has come out and hasn't had that problem. So I mean,
Yeah, I think Blizzard should have got it right because they have one of the biggest online games, and they made the mistake with World of Warcraft, not having the right server distribution. But
yeah.
I let Diablo 3 off because it's such a great game. But to be honest, the game that's kind of stolen most of my time since I started playing it is Atelier Maruru.
Oh, I knew this was coming.
Oh yeah.
I'm obsessed with it. I can't put it down. I don't even know why, because for the first hour of playing the game, I was really like, oh, this sucks. But after the first hour, I suddenly realized that it was actually an amazing game, and I'd have to dedicate the rest of my life to it. So it seems that it's going that way.
The rest of your life. Well, I'm kind of glad you brought it up because I had been thinking about this earlier, and I figured, at some point it would come up during the podcast. I gotta say, this is one of the first times where I've read a pretty much overwhelmingly positive review that actually took a game that just upon, I guess, looking at it, I was kind of interested in. And after reading the review, the positive review, I was actually turned off to play it
Yeah, but
Or
that was about the heavy crafting mechanic, wasn't it? You weren't interested in the craft.
yeah, can I kind of thought about this. I kind of analyzed what was going on while I was reading that. So I think here's what I compared it to as I was reading your review, back when. I had flashes in my mind of the I think they were original PlayStation games. And chances are you haven't heard of them. God, Jade Cocoon. There were at least two games that I know of. And I have them both somewhere. And it's from as far as I know, because I've played them kind of like to a limited extent, but they're um I guess in a way sort of like I hope I'm not like wrong about this, but like kind of Pokemon-ish, where you send your monsters in to do battle against the other guy's monsters, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Um, and the way you get the monsters, I don't think you so much capture them as that you have to kind of craft them and breed them and things like that. And that game, or those two games, kind of left like a really bad taste in my mouth for that style of gameplay. And when you mentioned that it's really heavy for Atelier Maruru, well, that's a mouthful. My God.
Atelier Marrero.
Yeah.
Marrero.
But that was all I needed to hear, and I immediately knew this. I don't know if I can
To be
even
honest,
try it.
I don't know if there's any game that I've ever played that has this crafting mechanic. It's basically the whole point of the game is you're going around and you're trying to, in true JRPG style, defeat monsters and like level your characters up, and you're collecting things. Now these things that you can collect, everything you collect can be used to make something, whether it's fluff or carrots or bits of rock or I don't know, the soul of your opponent, or anything, like literally anything that drops can be used to craft something. And everything is useful in different ways. They have like tons of different traits. There's all these different things. And it means that I spent so much time just making stuff because it was fun. And the thing is that everything you make is useful. So even now, when I've got, say, 15 or 20 different types of bomb available to me, different attack items available to me for my my alchemist to use, I'm still using some of the ones that I got early in the game because they're still equally as powerful. They're just used for completely different things. And it sounds obscene to say that there are 15 different items that all have equal level of use, but for different things. But it's true. There's so much depth to it, and I was astonished at how deep the game is. I think maybe the story will put a lot of people off. I played it in Japanese with English text, but I can definitely see that the American English voices would bug me quite a bit. They're really bratty and snotty, which is very different to the way that the Japanese have voiced it. So I can see that would put people off. But to be honest, I think the game is spectacular.
I should try this. I haven't really looked into an anime-based game in my entire PS3 career, so this might be something that the way that you talk about it sounds really interesting. I might just pick it up at some point. So
well, I'd say it's possibly worth playing one of the, because like while the game is based in a trilogy, there apparently been 13 Atelier games, but this particular sort of trilogy has recurring characters across it, and it's Atelier Rorona and Atelier Totori. And both of those seem to have really, really high reviews. They're the same type of graphics, same aesthetic, same crafting mechanic. So it might be worth playing those, because I think some people have been put off by the characters and story in Atelier Maruru.
Yeah, but have any of them been released outside of Japan?
Yeah, I think they've all had ports from Nipponichi Software America. Well, not all 13. I think Totori and Rorona definitely have.
Oh, so this trilogy, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I think, to be honest, when I'm done with Maruru, I'll probably play the other two. To be honest, I'd never heard of the games before. I was looking into it, ready to review them, and they astounded me. So I was like, oh, might want to pick up the previous games even.
Are they all imported?
Yeah, they're not imported. Like I'm playing on a PAL version in
right.
English. Right. They're basically released in Japan, then translated like any Pokemon game would be, or to be honest, most Final Fantasy games. They're made in Japanese, then translated over. and released a couple of months later in US and Europe.
So yeah.
Sorry. Okay, sorry. I was gonna say one more thing though, really quick. You're talking about Final Fantasy. Heavy metal does not work as battle music. I'm just gonna say that.
By the way, you were talking about Final Fantasy like an hour ago.
Yeah.
Just set that straight.
Yeah. No, I mean, because you kind of reminded me because that's the one thing I could never get past, and when I was playing 13-2 was how like this I'd be fighting this huge boss and I'd get into it, and then just the screamo heavy metal just music starts playing.
Yeah, it jars you out of the experience because it's not the right sort of aesthetic.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
Oh, dude. Well, you guys don't ever play Blue Dragon then.
Oh man.
Which is it's a good game, but you're gonna hate the music in that game.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sucks.
Dude. Well, Google it or YouTube it rather. Especially just look up on YouTube like the boss battle music. It's basically like it sounds like Iron Maiden kind of, but really really repetitive. I can't quite remember. I think the lyrics are kind of like they have to do with gotta give it all, gotta fight the fight, or something along those lines. And it's just like that same like that Iron Maiden, Bruce Davidson like screaming type of metal like you were talking about. Don't play it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to say don't play it because I don't want to slam the game based on that, but play it, but just be aware that you would probably hate the music. Just throwing that in there.
Yeah. But one last thing, they just kept like the biggest part of that was like you're fighting this thing, and the singer just like do it. It's just like come on.
So now we've taken everything we've talked about and added music to it as well, and JRPGs. I think we've covered everything.
Yes.
I don't think there's a region of gaming space that we've missed.
Well, I really think that the as far as music goes, there's been talk a little bit recently about having a music feature on site. It hasn't really happened yet, but I think that would be something worth getting into because just gaming music as a whole, there's so much to say about that. We could have a whole row of podcasts just about different soundtrack.
I think it's definitely worth it. So the thing is, music just changes the way that games play. And some gaming music is just so fantastic. Metal Gear Solid, I mentioned right at the beginning, one of my favorite games ever. The music is unbelievable. It's absolutely perfect.
What game is that again?
Metal Gear Solid, the first one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wish I remembered the music of that game then. I honestly don't.
YouTube it. It's worth listening to.
It's
so
great
good.
music. Just the battle music, the vocals, just when the talk gets like, really depressing and heart to heart, like that stuff. Oh man.
That was one of the good things about Skullgirls too. If you did play it, I think it sounded like you had played it, Dan. But it has like a really interesting for a fighting game, like a very cool, like jazzy soundtrack.
Yeah.
Like almost like a lounge music. I don't know how else to describe it, but it's not something I typically listen to, but it was very pleasant and it really worked for like that game.
Yeah, it's good.
And also on that note, there was another a game I didn't care for as much a little while ago. Alan Wake's American Nightmare, which is like the kind of like almost like an expansion, I guess, like a unofficial sequel of sorts to the actual Alan Wake game, which that game I did actually love. But what those games have done is introduced me to a Norwegian band, Poets of the Fall, who do a lot of the soundtrack work for those games, and just based on like the one or two songs that they have in each of the games, I've kind of looked them up on YouTube and looked them up in other places and have gotten into more of their music, and they're a really good band too. So
yeah.
I mean, I think the soundtrack stuff is definitely that's something we can really get into at this time. Maybe in the next podcast we can focus more on that because we're running to the end here. one thing I meant to do it at the very beginning of the podcast, like literally at one of the first things, but I lost track of it. I'll try to remember to do it early on next time. But for anybody that's listening that's gotten to this point of the podcast, make sure you not only check us out at beanbgaming.com, but also look us up on Facebook. Raptor, we have a Raptor, I guess channel would be the right way to, or a Raptor
Page.
page. There you go. And we are definitely currently in the process of expanding our YouTube channel. So look us up on there. We are putting up original video content. Our podcasts will be on there.
And your Let's Play.
Let's play.
Yeah, well, hopefully with a few more things coming soon. So I think it's safe to say we're expanding on that. So look us up on iTunes, Twitter, YouTube, blah blah blah, all all that good stuff.
Blah, blah.
Well, blah, because I've mentioned them all. I don't want to repeat them all again. I think
Facebook, Raptor, Twitter.
Yep.
YouTube.
I meant to put it earlier on, but so yeah. Any closing thoughts, guys?
I'm hungry.
I'm going to go for a cup of tea.
Well, on that note, then, so it's I guess we're all just back to we're off to go meet our basic human needs.
Must eat food.
Yeah, well,
it's been a good popping of my PodBytes cherry.
Well, good. I'm glad that
we hope we made you satisfied.
Yeah, I'm glad it was good for you too.
Now get out.
And about a full hour. I think we're just over the hour mark.
Yay!
Yep.
So that's some longevity for you right there.
It is. Stamina.
Dan won't be able to walk tomorrow, by the way, everybody. Well, we hope that maybe we haven't given any audio venereal diseases to anybody during the recording of this podcast, and that the rest of you are in better health than Dan's immune system will be shortly. Oh, okay. This is quickly getting out of control. Well, all right. Thanks for joining me then, Rexley. Thanks, Dan, for hanging out.
It's good. See you later,
It's
guys.
been fun, and we'll do this again soon. All right. Take care, you guys. Goodbye, everybody.
Okay.